Right, let us go and put some edging around the top part of our mitten or glove, and you're going to put 5, so you're going to put basically a round of every colour, or you could do 5 rounds of one colour if you want, around the top. So whatever order you want to do it in, or if you want to alternate or whatever, and they're going to be rounds of double crochet. Now it's very straightforward, but all I would say to you is just be careful that you don't pull this part too tight. If you want to, you can go up a hook size if you're sort of like me, a bit prone to making things a little bit tight when you crochet. And what you're going to do is you're going to join in any stitch, and you're going to put 8 double crochet on each square all the way around, so you will end up with 40 double crochet. And it is really, you know, a sort of a bog standard round of double crochet. So let's just get started. I'm going to count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So I'm going to put my first, we're going under both, we're finished with working in back loops only, we're going under both strands of the stitch as before. And all I'm going to do is pull through a loop, and if you want to, you can you can join this in however you like to do it. If you like to join in with a slip stitch, that's fine, but I just kind of go straight ahead and just join it in like so. So it's now secure, and I'm going to I'm going to do 1 chain, which will count as my first double crochet, and when I pull that and tighten it, that's going to kind of become the right size as we work around. So I've got 1 double crochet in my first stitch, and as I said to you, we're going to be doing 8 per square, not too tight. Okay, so 2, and I'm crocheting over that end as I work. Of course, we're working UK terminology, so I'm working double crochet here, but our overseas friends will possibly think this, or refer to this, sorry, as single crochet, which is also fine, of course. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now at this point, whoops, as I start to talk, it goes a bit wrong. I'm not going to be putting any stitches between squares or anything like that. I'm just going to hop across and make sure I get 8 into this next square. Okay. So that's 1. It's difficult to see because obviously I'm now on the same colour. 2. Okay, so I've got 8 here, and like I said, brilliant choice of colour because you can't see any of it. And I'm hopping across, I'm not doing anything in this little dip. When I've come to my 8 stitches, I'm hopping across to the next square and putting 8 through there. Just not too tight. And I don't know if I mentioned this right at the beginning, but of course we're working on the right side of the glove now, where glove is the right side out. We're not doing it inside out or anything like that. And that's all I'm going to do all the way around the top until I get to the end, and I should have, if my maths is correct, 40 double crochet. So I'll get to the end and I'll show you what we do to change colour. Right, I'm back to the beginning, and all I'm going to do to finish with this colour is a slip stitch into the first, well, it's the chain which acted as our first double crochet. So slip stitch to close it, and I will fasten that off. So it's not anything I think that you're probably unfamiliar with, but you know, just in case you thought what technique is going on. And I'm just going to pull that through and pull the knot through to the back. So that's nice and neat there, isn't it? And I'm ready to go. I'll sew my ends in at the end, honest. Ready to go with my next colour. So I'm going to go with blue. So it's going to go super rainbowy. And join into any area. I'm going to join in somewhere different now so I don't get loads of lumps in one place. I'm going to come over and join into here and work around. And that's all we're going to be doing for 5 rounds of colour. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show you what it looks like when I've finished. Ta-da! Right, it's just beautiful. I can't stop wearing them, which is unfortunate when I'm trying to crochet. So there, if you could just about see, we've got our 5 rounds of double crochet going around the top of the mittens or gloves. So I don't know, what would you call them? Mittens, gloves? I don't know. And we're now going to do something similar around the thumb. Okay, so let's move on and do that. Okay, so in a similar way to how we've worked the lovely edge, the top edge of the gloves, we're going to do something similar around the thumb opening, but we're only going to work 4 rounds there, not 5, and so you know, you can take this opportunity to change your colours if you like, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with pink. And what we're aiming for are 20 stitches for each round. So let me show you where your hook is going to go to get those 20 stitches. I'm going to start in the first stitch of the square that sort of helps to form our thumb opening, and just pull up a loop just as I've done before. Make sure I'm pulling the right yarn through to secure. I'm going to make 1 chain, and that's going to count as my first double crochet. Of course, we're working UK terminology here, and I'm going to go across as I did before and make 8 double crochet in this little square. Okay, this is number 7 and number 8. Okay, but we've got 2 more stitches to find on each side, as I mentioned to you, and so what we're going to do is just borrow a stitch from the squares either side of our thumb opening. So I've got 8 across the top of the square where the thumb opening is, and I'm going to pop across into this next blue square and put my hook up into that corner stitch. Okay, just in there. It will neaten this up nicely. You can sort of see my stitches close up, can't you? But that's okay. So now I've got 1 stitch in that blue neighbouring square. I'm going to turn the whole thing round, and I'm going to do a stitch now in this purple neighbouring square. So again, up into that corner, and it will reinforce it. Oops, I've gone through the chain space, which is, I think, is okay, but I'd rather go through an actual stitch because that will just strengthen it a little bit. So putting my hook through. The photographs do illustrate this very nicely actually in the booklet. I'm just popping that through there and tightening that up, and what that's done is that's just had the effect of strengthening that corner a bit, which is just, I think, what we need here. So that is, my stitch count is now 10, and off I go along the 8 of this little square here. So 12, 13, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, okay, 17 and 18. So that brings me to the end of this square on this side, and I'm going to close them up by doing exactly the same, which is borrowing a stitch from the neighbouring squares. So if I just kind of open my glove up a little and put my hook through that corner stitch, that's number 19, turn the whole thing round, and now I just want to borrow 1 stitch from this neighbouring square here to reinforce that corner. Where can I go? Oh, I'm going in the wrong place. I'm going in the whip stitches. Okay, there we go, and that has sort of closed that up nicely and reinforced it, and I'm just gonna finish by slip stitching to my first double crochet. I'll just leave that like that for now. And you can see, I'll trim that off. Pull it through. Why not? Why not do the actual job, Emma? You hear that magpie? Got my window open. There's magpie chattering away. Hide that in there for now. And you can see that edge, the thumb opening is now reinforced, and I've got a good foundation now, so I can just go through with 3 other colours and finish off the thumb in a very similar way to what we've got going on the top edge. So I'm going to go with the lovely goldy green colour. And I haven't learnt the names of the colours, I can't even tell you, but goldy green, you know what I mean. I'll finish these rounds off and I will show you at the end what they look like. Ta-da! I do like these ta-da moments, don't I? There's the thumb, nicely done, and it does kind of help to shape that. I've changed the camera angle, it's a little bit too close, isn't it, to really see it. It does really help to sort of turn it more glove-like, so that's really beautiful. I'm very pleased with that. You could do some more rounds if you wanted to. We've got plenty of yarn left over, but for now that's done, and it's just time to move on to the cuff.